Looks like we are having some communication problems with Mr. Mitch Schultz. We'll see if we can get him on a little bit later in the show, but it's okay because I've got plenty to talk about. I want to stay on Gaza here for just a little bit longer, and then we will move on to something else. But my point to all of this is that we have to put all these nationalities and religions and everything to the side because these are the tools that the elite use in order to make us do horrific things, in order to make us go against our own morals. There's no good people out there who would call for genocide and think that babies are okay to kill without a book in their hand, without brainwashing that says that it's ordained by God. If it is ordained by God, then my question is, what kind of God are you serving? My God tells me to save life. My God tells me that life is precious. It doesn't matter if you're Gazan, Palestinian, if you're Israeli, if you're American. It doesn't matter. Life is precious. The only time that you forfeit your life, your right to your life being precious is when you consider other life not precious. And that's where we're heading. All of us here will start rallying for Israel to do whatever they want and backing them. And then genocide is going to become a norm, which it has, and it's going to come here to the United States. So then what? Then at that point, when we're yelling and saying our life is precious, the universe, the cosmos, karma, whatever you want to call it, is going to turn around and say, no, it's not. You didn't think those people's lives were precious, so what makes you so special? Just because you were born inside of a certain invisible set of borders? Imaginary lines? You see, we have to be consistent with our thinking and our ideology. If that was happening here, everybody would be in an uproar. So why are we not in an uproar when it's happening over there? Why? Religion and nationality. Those two things right there. We have to start thinking of ourselves as people. I don't know if I talked about this on a previous show or not, who the Messiah is. I think I did. Yeah, I did go over this. Who the Messiah is for the New Age. So you can check out one of the other shows. You know what? I'll go over it really quick, just for those of you that didn't listen to the other time when I was talking about this, which was a couple shows ago. In the age of Taurus, and I'm going to give you the quick version. In the age of Taurus, we had Moloch. Moloch demanded child sacrifices, or we thought that Moloch demanded child sacrifices. He was the god of prosperity, fertility, and if you sacrificed a child, then your crops would grow, and you would have a prosperous year. Then we had a consciousness shift at the age. Moses came with a ram and said, no. You know, our consciousness is higher now. Stop sacrificing your children. We still have to sacrifice something. Let's sacrifice rams and let's sacrifice lambs. And he gave us all these rules on how to enslave each other, how to sell our daughters into sex slavery, that women are scum. I mean, it's some of the most horrific things in the Bible. I was actually just looking at on my Facebook timeline, and there was an article about how the Bible is being put back into naval bases. And it was the New Testament with Psalms and Proverbs, and it was a smaller version of the Bible. And I thought to myself, yeah, they're doing that because if people actually realized what's in the Bible in the other books, then they would go, oh my God, this is a work of the devil. This isn't anything positive. Enslaving people and killing people and genocide and baby murder and rape and all of that, pillage. It's things of the devil. It's not things of God. But it's put in a book which is given to you to make you believe that these are things of God. They're not. And that the mentality is carried over now to make us believe that bombing these children in Gaza is a thing of God. Anyways, let me get back to my point here. So we had a consciousness shift at the age of Aries. We moved into the age of Pisces. In the age of Pisces, Jesus came. He was the Messiah. He said he was the fish god. He fed people with fish. He got fishermen, fish, because he was representing the age of Pisces. And he says, hey, you know, don't kill each other. Our consciousness has shifted again. So now we have moved into the age of Aries. This isn't some kind of new age philosophy. This is scientific fact that we have moved into the age of, not the age of Aries, into the age of Aquarius. So in the age of Aquarius, Aquarius is the water bearer, so we need a water-bearing Messiah. Who's the water-bearing Messiah? You are. I am. Everybody is. We're made of 60% water. Babies are made of 70 to 80% water. It's time for us to take the responsibility now that the consciousness has shifted and say, hey, we're not going to put up with any of this, okay? Jesus told us to love, and he said he came to fulfill the law, not to get rid of the law. Which I would argue that he didn't actually say that, but let's just look at mainstream religion here for a moment. So now in the age of Aquarius, what is the water bearer? What's the water bearer's message? The water bearer's message is we have to get rid of nationality. We have to get rid of religion. We have to love each other as water bearers. We're each water bearers. We have to become the messiahs now. There is not one messiah that's going to come save us. We have to save ourselves, and we have to throw off everything from the old, even religion. You don't have to throw off the Christ consciousness. The Christ consciousness is very important. You have to throw off the brainwashing ideologies of religion and nationality. And I hear people thumping the Bible and quoting the Bible and all of this, and it's disturbing. There was a Christian singer who just came out and she said that she was gay. And people were condemning her on Facebook. Just imagine, put yourself in these people's positions. How would it feel if society was telling you, how would you feel if society was telling you that your sexuality is an abomination and a sin and that you are a bad person for something that you were born with? Me being straight, I can only think from a straight man's perspective and think, what would I feel like if society was telling me that being straight was an abomination and that I had to be gay? I can't do it. I don't like guys. So people that condemn people for their sexuality, I can only assume that they have homosexual urges and tendencies, and they have made a conscious choice to put those to the side and to live out a lie because they believe that others can do the same. But I don't even think that people even think that deeply. But I was arguing with another person. Okay, so let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Leviticus. Let's go to these books where all this, abomination of homosexuality is written. Well, what else is written there? Sacrifice, slavery, genocide, infanticide, rape, pillage, you name it. And I've asked people, why is it that we were able to determine as a society, as a species, that all this stuff is immoral, even though it's in the Word of God? All of this stuff is immoral. Slavery and infanticide and all this. I don't think anybody would say that slavery is moral. Not here in the United States. Why is it that we were able to determine that that was immoral, yet we hang on to this one particular piece here that makes people feel horrible about themselves? If homosexuality is really bad, God will come into this person's heart and will show them and change it. But I don't see God doing that. Instead, I see society oppressing people because they just have to oppress. People just have to oppress based on these ideologies. This is another reason. When I saw that article about this Christian country singer, I thought, good for her. I'm so glad that she doesn't have to live with that hidden feeling anymore, and she doesn't have to live a lie anymore. I'm so happy for her. But the way the people were condemning her in her own circle, it's not very Christian. It's not what Jesus taught us. Jesus taught us to love each other. Jesus taught us to love the sinners and the whores and all of those people, even the tax collectors. Tax collectors were the worst of the worst. Now, in the time of Aquarius, it's time to shed all of that. I don't care what you're doing in your bedroom. I care what you're doing to your neighbors. And if you're killing their babies and saying that it's okay to do so, everything else falls to the wayside, and you become that act of violence that you've perpetrated upon people. And I don't care if you are the biggest humanitarian in the world. As soon as you start killing your neighbor's babies or your own, you're doomed.